This is Ki with RunScore. Today I'll be covering the results screen. This is your workplace that you spend most of your time for scoring the race, and we'll cover some of the capabilities and actions you have for the results screen. To enter the results screen, we can either use the menu or we can use the quick menu bar down here. Click in Results, we'll select Finish. If we want to go to the next one, we can go to hold the Alt key down, hit 2, 3, 4, all those, and you can always go back to Alt 1 to go back to your first screen. Notice that the place of the entries you have, we have the bib number and the time we've brought in. The F6 will go ahead and give you your select times. We can cycle through that. F7 will go these extra fields, which allows you to see the information in each record via or being by the sort or the select fields sorted in order as they appear on the internet at name screen. The first thing we can look at is if we do Control End, it'll take us to the end record. That's also on the icon here. We can go to the first record this way, or we can go ahead and page down or up with those arrows or the page up and page down keys. We can also use the arrow keys up and down to do that. Each one of these right now, if you click in the number or bib column, you will only be working on the bib numbers. If you click on the time, you'll only be working on the times. That's F3 gives you bib, F4 gives you the time column, and F5 gives you both. Again, that's also down here to tell you all the stuff. If you hit F2, it'll ask you to confirm that you want to delete. We'll say no. So additional features we can look at, if we go up to the File menu, notice this has a special menu for the results screens. We can save the numbers and times or times. We hit both. If we hit F10, it will save those to where we have it in our save location to be able to see. Later, we can also reload those. The export the bib numbers and times is a very useful tool that we can go ahead and export the numbers, the times, or both. If we export those, it'll pick the, make sure you're in your erase folder, and we'll name that as finish.txt. If we go ahead and replace that, yes. Now, if for some reason we have initialized that event, we'll initialize results, finish, yes. Notice that's blank. We will now go File, Import, Numbers and Times, and we'll replace, and we'll go to Finish, and now all those times and everything are back. We can move them from different fields. If we want to copy this into another results screen, we can do that at this time. Okay, the options just shows you some of the options we've got in here. We talked about the F6, F7. The debug mode, you may be asked to do that if you're having troubles with connecting to a device, but that'll usually be from tech support, so don't worry about that. Enter edit names. If you've got a record highlighted as we have here, you do that, you'll get into that directly into that record. The quicker way to do that is double click on that record. Again, now we go down with AltN. Most of these you just don't worry about, but the AltN is not found added. Notice it forms at the bottom of the screen here. If all of a sudden you get in on a transponder system, you get in a bib number and a time, it will add that to the database if it's not already there. We can hit Alt-N to get rid of that. Again, we can click in the columns, do everything we need to on that. The other important things to look at here, auto refresh is if you want that, it'll every time something new comes in on the screen, you want to turn that off if you're going to go edit anything on this screen. You can edit on the screen by, you can insert. Down here we could type a 0 and notice that inserts. But notice that now that our select times are off, so we go up to here, we hit F2, confirm yes to delete, and now we're back up and good. Again, if you're in F3, you get the bib number, F4 that, or F5 both. Now in F5 or any of this, we can hold the key, Alt key down, hit the arrow up and down to move that information. Be careful that you don't and if you've all of a sudden realized that these are put in the wrong order, you can do that, but then you want to make sure that your selects and everything match back up. Other options that are quite helpful is you can sort by bib number if you want to see the bibs and how they are. Notice the times are out of order, but we can also go back to Alt T and get that. Again, there are some additional things for the old style systems for championship, AMB, or winning time, but almost everybody uses it by TCP/IP connection now. Again, F10 will save all this. You can do as we mentioned before, you can load a chip file by selecting the file and using Control F9 or this function to go ahead and load your transponder data in. Let the middleware do that for you. Most of this manual stuff is just interesting, the old way of doing it, and still a capability you can use. Now, say we're having some concerns or problems here, we can hit F1, bring up the help directly on that, covers all the items we were talking about, the special keys, everything else, and we can talk about the Alt F2 to delete highlighted entry to the end. You can do Control F2 to arm the delete function to get rid of the prompt on each deletion. Be careful how you use that. Again, all these other things will help you down through that. Important thing to look later is some of your special commands. This allows you to add a time. Say that you finally realize that your timer is off by 2 minutes. You can add or delete or subtract a time from all or part of your entries. Just read up on that. You can also delete certain place finishers, and you can also move or swap. In the old days, we had a lot of problems with the couples wearing the wrong bib numbers. You can swap them this way, but that just does it in this. We recommend you use the @swap command in the browse to swap those database entries so that it always stays the good. And you can also set a time in there on this. This is kind of a manual way to do it. Now, we've covered some of the basic functions of the results screen. It's your friend. It's what you use. It's your workspace. If you have any questions, give us a shout. And if not, we will talk to you in the next video. Good day.